And we're recording.
So last time on in our game, um, the player characters, barely survived their battle with the possessed tree in the local moth park, and they were saved by a group of mages who identified themselves as the Exalted Order of Griffins, and they are the guards and servants of another cabal of mages that go by the name of the Brotherhood of Ineffable Truth, um, run by a very powerful mage by the name of Potestus. Now, in exchange for uh, Beth essentially swearing service to Potestus, he healed her legs. And Raven will probably do something similar in our next session, as she has also awoken onto the path of Thyrus. Um, and despite her wounds, despite Raven's wounds, she was actually in a much better place by the end of the session than Youko was, who was completely raving mad. And it was decided by the rest of the Brotherhood and the Griffins that she needed to be taken away somewhere where she can be cared for and treated and generally just kind of disposed of in a safe and humane manner. And so they shipped her off to a local asylum. And have I missed anything, Mitchell?
Uh, that's a pretty good overview of the stuff that happened.
Yo, man, could you turn that down? It's like really loud.
Oh, turn it down?
Yeah, bro, it's like really loud.
Okay.
All right. No, you covered pretty much everything.
So now,
By the way, is that still loud in the background, guys?
No.
no, I can barely hear it.
Okay.
So now, some time's passed, a whole 3 months, in fact. You have been rotting in this asylum. Yuko, your situation hasn't gotten any better. Day in and day out, you're being tormented by this voice, just whispering from the shadows, urging you to come home. This visions of black tar flooding into your cell, threaten you at every night. Your only sole comfort has been the man in the adjacent cell to you. And at this point, I will turn it over to Adonis. Would you describe your character and what he's doing currently um, in his cell? Outside, it is actually New Year's, and you can hear the fireworks going off all around you. Just a reminder of where you're spending your New Year's and perhaps wondering how much longer you'll be here.
Standing at about 6'4", Adonis has brownish red hair going down to about his shoulders with bluish eyes. His arms have been bandaged up from previous attempts of self-harm. Here inside the cell, he has gotten okay with his recent wrongdoings. He's been talking to the woman in the adjacent cell, giving brief tidbits of information about his life or his sins that he has committed. He's in the formal dress wear of the asylums. Wait, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My mic wasn't moving, I'm sorry.
Okay.
He's in the formal wear of the asylums, like white garbs that they have, just that each person has, within variation of colors of blue, whites, grays.
What's he doing?
he would be sitting on his bed just thinking about his recent findings of he has come to acceptance with the terms of what he did. Drinking and driving is not something anybody should do. And he lost everything. So he's just been sitting, obeying the orders, talking to just doing his day-to-day remedial tasks that are assigned to him through the asylum. Pacing, filling out certain forms, taking the medicine that he's supposed to. Other than that, he's kind of quiet and a bit to himself.
Now, ever since your last suicide attempt, the time you saw your family speaking to you through the mists, you haven't been the same since then. You haven't felt the same. The world is slightly darker, slightly more gray. Food doesn't taste the same. Colors aren't as vibrant. And you've become increasingly aware that there are, in fact, ghosts. You see them on the street corners. You see them wandering the hallways occasionally around the asylum. They don't really seem to interact with you in any way, but you just kind of know that they're not really there, that they're dead.
Feeling the gray line kind of fade with that recent attempt. He hasn't really went to seek out or try to talk to them or see why they're there. He kind of just understands that his initial would be like freaking out a bit because other people don't see them, or at least nobody gets a clue as people walk straight through the ghosts, but he can see them. He doesn't interact with them now.
It would honestly make sense if he like chose purposefully to ignore them, just so he doesn't look any crazier than he actually is. You know, given where he's currently at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One thing that's stuck out to you, however, is the fact that the medication that the asylum has been giving you has had no effect on whether or not you see them. So you're not sure if that means you're just especially crazy or if there's something more going on here. Have you mentioned any of these experiences to the woman in the adjacent cell?
Between us coming and going of guards' feeds in the hallway from their cells, or rooms rather, he would mention like, hey, I sometimes see things that aren't normally there. Or just talk about them. Don't give faint but accurate descriptions of them without giving away too much.
Youko, you're sitting in the other cell. Because of your frequent breakdowns, you're actually just like laying in the bed in a straitjacket. Your head has been shaved.
Fuck. So I'm just laying there currently?
Yeah, but this is one of your more lucid moments. This tar hasn't started oozing into your room yet, although you anticipate its arrival. How do you react to your new friend, telling you about these experiences he's had?
I see things too, I say. Just terrible things. Like the tower. It was there, and I was so close. And then it was taken away. And there's faces. They keep on telling me to come home.
A tower? I haven't seen anything like that. Just people.
I see.
A little bit of blood drips from the ceiling onto your face, Yuko. And you look up and you see the woman sitting on your ceiling. Crow feathers decorating her face and her neck, almost a doppelganger of you. Except for the raven feathers and decorating her face and neck and arms. She's badly hurt. Multiple stab wounds all across her body. She's been there for days now. You've become accustomed to her presence. Although you don't remember quite seeing her for the first time. She was just kind of always there, and you became aware of her.
Does she ever say anything?
No.
Have I ever
But she kind of smiles mournfully down at you.
have I ever tried to talk to her?
You have. Her response has been muted, though. It seems to pain her to talk, almost. She clenches her jaw and kind of like squeezes her wounds.
I look up at her, and I say, "What do you want?"
It just kind of smiles at you. Not any kind of creepy, menacing smile, but like a sincere, kindly smile, the kind you would expect a mother to give her child. You can tell she's in great pain, but she smiles through it.
What happened to you?
And Adonis, you're hearing all this, by the way. You're hearing her muttering to herself on the other side of the walls. The walls are remarkably thin in this section of the asylum.
And I continue to talk, and I ask, "Who hurt you?"
Well, I hurt myself.
No, not you. No, not you. I'm not talking to you.
Oh, I'm sorry, Yunko.
You don't actually. My character never actually told you their name. They said they don't know
Uh,
your name.
Oh, that's correct. I'm sorry. It'd be easier to call you something,
Yeah.
but I don't know where. Well, whatever it is, I wouldn't pay too much mind to it.
The creature on your ceiling mouths something to you.
Can I try to read its lips?
Yeah, wits composure.
Okay.
+3.
I'm pretty good at that.
+3.
+3. Oh, all right. So that's 10 die, actually. Okay. 1 success.
You think it's saying scald.
Scald. Someone scalded you? You don't look burned. Looks like something stabbed you.
It points to itself, and then it points to you, and it mouths scald again.
Are you saying I hurt you?
A look of shock and sorrow kind of like passes over her features, and she kind of slides down from the wall and kind of like she reaches out and she kind of like caresses your shoulder. She shakes her head.
just wish I knew what you wanted me to do.
It smiles and it kind of like brings its head like close down to your ear. And in a hoarse voice, it whispers, I want you to save yourself.
Save myself. How? Can you tell me how? I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to hear that thing or to see those eyes again.
Youko, they abandoned us.
You mean the person from before? And the burned girl?
But I want you to know, I will not abandon you.
Is that
I can show you the way, Youko.
Is that my name?
It is. But you can be Scald for a little while if you need the strength.
Did I really do all of those things?
She smiles sadly and kind of nods. A barely perceptible nod.
Do I deserve a second chance?
Of course. Of course you do, Youko. The circumstances that we were pushed through. No one could have come through that unscarred. We survived, Youko. We're survivors.
What do I have to do?
You need to remember.
Remember what exactly?
Her eyes suddenly like widen. She like sits up alert.
What is it?
And like a shadow, she kind of just like glides away, disappearing into like the corner of the room,
Come
disappearing
back.
from sight.
No, don't go. Please, come back.
Hey, shut up in there! One of the orderlies kind of like bangs on the door.
I flinch as he says this, and then I go quiet.
Fucking hell. You hear his footsteps retreat down the hall.
Are you? I whisper. I whisper out to the room. Are you there? He's gone. You can come back.
A sharp pain begins to clench your heart. The exact same pain that you felt in the park.
I like let out a like noticeably pained grunt. You just in the other room. You just hear.
You okay?
And I just like say in as loud of a voice as I can, help.
I'm gonna start hitting the door, trying to make as much noise as possible.
Hey, what's going on?
Uh,
Orderly comes back.
the lady in the next room needs help.
Oh, what, the screamer?
You're supposed to be here to help her, not tease her.
He kind of like walks over to Yuko's window and kind of like looks in. Hey, what's wrong with you?
I just say like as loud as I can. Can't breathe.
He kind of goes. He begins to pull out his keys, locks Yuko's cell, and kind of walks in. Hey, what's wrong with you? He kind of like walks over, pulls you up into like a sitting position. As he does this, the pain begins to subside.
My chest hurt.
Okay. We'll take you down to the doctor's office. Can you walk?
I try to walk. I like.
You can, in fact, walk.
Okay. And I'll let him escort me.
All right. So he takes you down to the doctor's office, and after a few minutes wait, a doctor comes and examines you. They notice that your heart rate is rather high, and they kind of wave it off as a panic attack. You're given a couple of sedatives, a couple of blue pills. Open up.
I open my mouth for them.
Kind of pours the pills into your mouth, gives you a glass of water, pours that gently.
All right, I swallow the pills.
And they begin to escort you back to your cell.
Okay.
While Yuko is gone, Adonis, what are you doing?
I assume that my room doesn't really have like an open window on it. They would have to slide it open, so I wouldn't be able to see anything like that. It sounded like they were taking her to the doctor, so that's gonna ease my worries just a little bit. But I know eventually all people die, so it's not really taking much hold onto.
Hey, Micah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna send you a message real quick, but continue.
Okay.
Looking around my room, I'm gonna start years working in the field of hunting and tracking and all that stuff. I've picked up an ability to kind of possibly notice more important details about the room. Could I use my trained observer skill to see if there's anything of anything important in this room?
1 second.
Also, I sent the message.
Yes. I'll consider it. I don't think so.
Okay. I just figured I'd ask.
Yeah, so before I have you make that roll,
Okay.
Adonis, you turn around and you see a man in a black hoodie, like standing by the window.
What? What?
Where is she? Where is she? He rushes forward suddenly and grabs you by your shirt and like slams you into the wall. Where is she? She should be here. She should be here. In the light of an exploding firework just outside the window, you see its face illuminated. and his features are absolutely horrifying, disfigured, distorted, running, dripping like candle wax down the front of his face.
Give me 1 second.
Okay.
The moment I get slammed into the wall, I'm gonna kind of grip him back and try to turn and slam him into the wall.
Okay.
My size and my strength against him.
Yeah, make a strength brawl. This is going to be a contested roll, so he's going to be rolling against you.
Okay, so I have strength brawl. That's 4 dots total. How do I roll these dice?
So you're looking for 8s and higher. A 10 is a reroll. It counts as a success, and then you reroll it again.
Okay. So a number of dice I roll?
Is going to be your strength dots plus your brawl.
You can also, if you want to boost your odds of success, spend a point of willpower to increase your pool by 3 die.
Yes, you could do that. Currently, since you have a strength of 2 and a brawl of 2, you'd be rolling 4 die.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I had 0 successes.
Ooh.
Okay, I'm going to roll for him. And he got 2 successes. As you struggle, he like grabs you and just slams you into the wall a second time. Where is Youko? Tell me where she is. Oh.
Talking about the lady in the next room.
Next room. He throws you down to the ground and rushes over to the door of and he kind of like presses his face to the window and starts like looking out into the hallway.
What are you doing here, and who are you?
Shh. I can hear her. I can hear her heartbeat. Yes, getting closer.
What is I'm gonna try and like, what type of feeling do I have coming from him, like with his intent towards Youko?
Youko, Y-O-U-K-O.
Youko, excuse me.
You're okay.
Yeah, make an empathy wits.
Okay. I had 2 successes.
It's difficult to say because you don't know who the fuck this guy is.
Yeah.
But
Just like his crazed intent is what I'm trying to read.
you doubt it's anything wholesome.
Okay. While he's pressed against there, I'm going to attempt to hit him in the back of the head against the frame of the window.
All right, make a brawl. Strength. It's going to be at a -3.
-3 for me, or
Yes, for you.
Holy shit. That's
minus?
So you're going to take your dice pool and you're going to take 3 dice from it.
Okay, so just 1. Okay.
You remember, you can still spend willpower.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll spend a point of willpower, and that gives me 1 dice back.
Gives you 3. So you'd be rolling 4 dice now.
Oh, it gives me all 3 back?
Yeah, whenever you spend willpower, it increases whatever you're trying to do by 3 die.
Okay. An 8, 6, a 7, and a 9.
That's 2
Okay, 2
successes.
successes. Yeah, so you crack him over the back of the head, and it's like his head kind of like distorts and like folds in with the blow. He kind of goes and slumps over to the ground.
I'm gonna. Well, does he look unconscious or dead?
He's still moving.
I'm gonna take the blankets from my bed and just try to wrap them around him as tightly and tie him down as I can.
Okay, so let's see here. You begin heading over to your bed when suddenly, like, this chill runs down your spine. And I need you to make a resolve composure roll.
Nine, 5, 6, 9, 8, 5. So 3 successes.
Okay. Jesus Christ. Okay, roll one more dice. Just a single die. Because he also got 3 successes.
And not a success.
What number did you get?
A 5.
Okay. So you hear this, you feel like this chill run down your spine. And you turn around and you see this like miasma of just like darkness, just like flooding out of him as he slowly begins to rise to his feet.
What the fuck?
Bastard, fucking bastard! I'm not here for you, bastard! And he turns around and he steps through the door.
What?
Just slides right through the door out into the hallway.
What the fuck?
And you see him like dart around the corner and like run into Yuko's room.
That's... I'm gonna... Hey! Anyone around? I'm gonna yell out into the hallway.
The orderly's coming back with Yuko. Now what is it?
I just saw something run into Yuko's room.
What?
I was in it. Just I can't make any true sense of it, but some black thing just ran by my window and ended up in Yuko's room, screaming that it wanted to see her.
Go back to sleep. I don't have time for this.
Doesn't matter whether or not you have or don't have time
He
for
starts
her.
ignoring you at this point, kind of ushering Yuko into the room. And he pushes Yuko into the room and kind of like sits you down on the bed.
I look around my room.
And as you're kind of like looking around the room, you see a figure kind of like crouched down in the corner of the room. And it lifts its head, and you see Kaito's disfigured face kind of like staring back at you. His features like oozing like candle wax almost.
Look over
Now
there.
what's your problem? As the orderly is saying that, Kaito like dives on top of him, like putting him in a headlock and like dragging him back into the shadows of the room. And then there's a sharp kind of like snap sound. And when Kaito emerges from the shadows, he's alone.
And I recognize this as Kaito, right? Like I just
Fucking disfigured. Like you don't know what happened to him, but his features are literally oozing.
Kaito.
Yuko, I've come to get you out of here, Yuko. Oh, Yuko, it's been so long. He kneels down next to the bed and kind of like rests a hand on your shoulder.
What happened to you?
Oh, Yuko, there was an accident, a terrible accident. But I can fix it. Yeah, it's all reversible, yes. Yeah. But I need your help. You want to help me, don't you? Don't you, Yuko?
I just stare at him in shock, like unable to like understand what the fuck is happening.
Come on, I'll explain everything. I just need to get you out of here.
You killed that guard.
No, he's okay. He's unconscious. It's fine, Yuko. It's fine. Make a resolve composure roll.
Okay. 1 second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 die. Okay. 5 die. I have 2 successes.
Okay, yeah. Nothing happens. Kaido continues to smile and rub your shoulder. It's fine. It's fine. He's unconscious. It's fine. As he rubs your shoulder, it's like his flesh is like peeling off and like smearing across the straitjacket.
Do I remember what exactly happened with Kaito? Like, am I aware of what state I left him in exactly? If you want to, you can just...
I'm going to leave that up to you. Do you think Yuko would be aware?
I'm going to make a resolve integrity roll. See, like we did before.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I got 2 successes. So I'm going to say, like, at this point she just has, like a brief flashback. And in this flashback, she's with her brother back in the apartment. And she's saying that, yeah, I'm going to help you. I'll be back tomorrow, all right? And then she walked out. And then she just sort of like goes blank-faced during this. She looks down and then she looks back up at him. Kaito.
Yes, it's me, Yuko. It's your brother.
Is it because I didn't come back?
He, make an empathy, wits roll.
Okay. I have nothing in empathy.
So -1 to wits.
Yes. So that's 4 die. All right. I have 1 success.
He stares at you like blank-faced. Oh, it's in the past, Yuko. It's in the past. Just forget about it. Let's get out of here. He begins to undo the straitjacket.
I'm just trying to think here.
There's gonna be like 3 sharp bangs against the wall. Are you okay in there?
Shut up, bastard! Shut up!
I look towards the wall.
Brother-sister bonding moment, you fucking bastard! Ah.
What?
Am I getting any sort of like vibes from him? Like from I'm trying to think.
Your brother is acting very strangely, yes.
Well, I can tell that. I mean, there's something clearly wrong with him. But I mean, like, have I seen this before? Have I felt anything like this before?
No.
Where are we gonna go, Kaito?
Go!
Just trust me. Just come with me. He finishes undoing your straitjacket. Leave the city, I think. That'd be good, I think, yes.
And then I remember, like, what Miss Riley had said, not to leave the city. And like those, one second. Like the words just like, like they come back into my mind. Don't leave Boston, Yuko. I can't protect you if you leave. And I just look at him and I say, Kaito. And I'm going to, here's what I'm going to do. I like lower my head, like just like feigning like meekness, right? And then I'm going to try to push him and run, basically.
Yeah, he isn't expecting that, and he falls backwards onto his onto his back. Yuko, no, come back here!
I'm gonna run over.
No!
I'm gonna run, and I'm gonna open up the guy next door's his cell, if it's unlocked.
It is not.
I look inside, and I if I can, and can I see him inside?
Yes,
there?
you can.
And I just have this like look of fucking panic, like across my face. That's what you can see.
Yuko, it's time to go home!
And at that point, I'm just gonna start fucking running.
He could go through walls. I'm gonna yell after her as she's running.
Yeah, I'm just fucking booking it. Like at this point, I'm gonna say like I just start like fucking screaming also, in like sheer fucking terror. Actually, no. I'm gonna take that back. I don't start screaming. I'm just gonna run, pretty much.
You flee down the hallway and you come into kind of like a main lobby. There's a couple of orderlies, kind of like there's an orderly sitting behind a desk on the computer, and a couple of other patients who are kind of sitting in a waiting room kind of area, waiting to be called up. As you suddenly come sprinting into the room, the orderly looks up. He sees your straitjacket hanging like partially off of you. Oh, whoa, what's going on? He begins to get up.
There's something here. It attacked.
Hey, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. He fully gets up. It's gonna be all right. At which point, a samurai steps around the corner with a screaming demon mask and a katana, and the samurai just like lops the orderly's heads clean off. A spray of blood goes like spraying across your chest.
I'm gonna fucking run. Like I see this, and I see the samurai, and I feel the blood just like splatter against my fucking body, and I'm just gonna run. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. The patients, they see it too. They start screaming as the samurai dives over the desk and begins to gut them, slashing them apart with its katana. You glance over your shoulder to see that happening.
Yeah, I'm running. Preferably towards the nearest exit, please. Actually, on my way, as I'm running, I'm gonna try to find something that I can use as a weapon.
Okay, but before we do that, Adonis, what are you doing?
I'm gonna checking the door. How sturdy are these doors?
Pretty sturdy. They're big metal doors. With a small reinforced glass window.
Fuck. I'm gonna take a panicked look around the room, try and see where the guy came through when he came through behind me.
You have no idea.
What?
Fuck.
Go ahead.
When you look up at the ceiling, you do notice there's a vent. Although it's been reinforced to like prevent anyone from messing with it. And there's no way he could have come through that, and closed it back up without you noticing.
I'm gonna try the door.
The door is locked.
Fuck, what do I do? 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 I'm gonna.
Your mind is drawn back to your awakening, to that vision you had, and you feel that connection to the place where the mists go on forever. You feel like it's a tenuous connection, but you could maybe pull something from that.
I'm gonna try my luck and reaching forward. I'm gonna grasp my hand and just hope something comes to me.
So, how the magic system works is you have one dot in death, matter, and mind. So you have some amount of control over these arcana.
Yeah.
And because you have one dot, you can cast... Where is that? You can cast compelling spells, knowing spells, and unveiling spells. So with knowing spells, because you have matter, you could like know what an object is made out of, where its weak points are, or you can know how someone died since you have Death Arcana. With unveiling, you could see ghosts because you have the Death Arcana, or unveil weaknesses in a material because you have matter.
Okay.
And with compelling spells, you could nudge a preferred but possible outcome into reality. So, because you have mind, a bored worker can be made to take a coffee break now instead of later. Essentially, things that they could do, and it's likely that they would do. You can compel them to do it, like now.
Do I feel any orderlies nearby or in the hallway or anything?
Make a wit's composure, actually.
What's composure? Okay. 98561.
That's one success.
You hear a lot of screaming in the distance, but nothing nearby.
I'm gonna study this door and see if there's any way I could somehow break it down. With oh jeez, I need to take notes. I need to get another page up. Okay. So there's compelling spells.
Knowing spells and unveiling spells. Oh, and you also have Mage Sight. That's another thing we should talk about.
Here. Open.
Okay.
So with Mage Sight, you can view things under the purview of the Arcana that you have. So while looking through Mage Sight, through active Mage Sight, you could see, you could not necessarily read the thoughts, but you could perceive the thoughts of thinking creatures in the area around you. Oh, with Death Sight, you could see ghosts and see anchors that the ghosts are attached to. And Matter, you could determine essentially what the matter is made out of. I'm looking for it.
Could I try and compel Kaido to unlock my door?
You don't have line of sight on him. You can't actually see him.
Ah, okay. So line of sight is necessary. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought
Unless
it was
you're using
just
sympathetic magic, but we can talk about that later.
really. I thought that was it was sensory range, but that is kind of vague. Like, what does sensory range mean, really?
Yeah.
But okay, all right.
Actually, let me double check that. Well, what I'll say is you actually don't know where Kaido is. You didn't see him leave the room, but you're not hearing him in the room anymore.
Okay. That's perfectly fine.
Actually, I think sensory range could be like if you hear them in the other room and stuff like that. I kind of like that
Yeah.
rather than it being purely a.
I'm gonna try and use unveiling, or no.
Okay.
Yeah, unveiling on the walls around me to see like which the weakest point in the wall would be.
Wouldn't that be a knowing?
Would it be knowing or unveiling?
Good question.
I think it would be knowing because unveiling more is like for mystery. It's like, understanding like different supernatural phenomena from what I understood.
Well, let's find out. This is a.
Good question.
Yeah, it's a good question. Knowing spells deliver knowledge about something directly to the mage or to another target. This knowledge is a direct awareness of supernal truth. The mage doesn't have to interpret evidence based on her senses or try and divine the truth out of cryptic riddles. Unveiling spells expose hidden things to the mage's senses. So, like, either one. So essentially what you're going to be doing here is there's 3 kind of spells.
Yeah.
There are rotes, praxes, and improvised magic. This is a case of improvised magic. And this spell that you're going to be attempting could easily fit into either knowing or unveiling, in my opinion. And that's okay. So for doing magic, the first thing that, the step 1 is to declare intent, which is to find the weakest point in the wall. Determine the arcanum in practice. That would be matter and either knowing or unveiling.
Mm-hmm.
And don't worry, by the way. Once you get a feel for all of this, it's gonna come like second nature. It's just gonna take a bit.
No, it's okay.
Mage is definitely one of the more complicated World of Darkness games. I will say that much. So you're going to be rolling 2 dice because your Gnosis is 1 and your Matter Arcana is 1.
Okay.
And before you do that, let's talk about reaches. So you can use reaches to essentially cast. So you get a number of free reaches dependent on hang on here, I'm trying to find my words. So if you had an Arcana of 4 and you were casting a 2-dot spell, you would have 3 reaches.
Okay.
Because you have a reach equal to the number of I'm sorry, I'm trying to explain this.
No, you're okay.
You know what I'm trying to say, right, Mitchell?
He has a number of reaches equal to. I'm not sure what it's equal to. Is it equal to his Arcana? his...
You have a number of reaches equal to
his gnosis? That would make the most sense. I'm
It's
thinking gnosis.
equal to the number of arcana I have.
no, it's
It's probably...
so if you had 4 arcana and you were casting a 2-dot spell, you would have 3 reaches because you have a reach for every dot equal to and more than the spell that you're casting.
Okay, so it's because he's casting a first tier spell, he would have 1 free reach, right?
Exactly. And every time, now reaches don't limit. Now the number of free reaches don't limit how many you can use. You can use as many reaches as you want, but when you begin pushing yourself beyond your free reaches, you invoke paradox, which is essentially kind of like wild magic. Your spell can lose control. It can tear holes in the fabric of reality and summon terrible things, and
Okay.
it can get really bad really fast.
Really, really bad.
Okay.
So you use reaches to do things like change the primary spell factor of a spell, move the spell from standard to advanced potency, move the spell from standard to advanced duration. If casting a spell at an advanced duration, you can spend an additional reach to make it indefinite. You can cast a reach to move a spell from touch to sensory range. If viewing if the target of your spell is at sensory range, you can spend another reach to allow you to cast on a subject that you're viewing remotely. And you can use reaches to cast an additional spell when you have no spell control slots remaining. There's a lot of things you can do.
Could I perhaps offer maybe some help? I don't know. Would that be okay?
Yeah.
It's kind of meta. I realize in a way it's kind of metagaming, but he's kind of new to all this, so...
Yeah, I'm just trying to explain the mechanics, so that works,
Okay, so you could you can use an improvised knowing spell, right, on the wall, right, and you'll have 1 free reach, which will basically increase how well you know the weak spots of the wall. Is that right, Micah?
Actually, what you would need to spend the reach on. So normally, if you're casting a spell, it's going to, at its base level, it's a ritual, and at Gnosis 1, a ritual takes 3 hours. So you can cast a spell after a 3-hour ritual, or you can spend your free reach to cast it instantaneously.
Okay.
So that would be what you're doing here. You're using the reach to spend, do it instantly. Basically.
Yeah.
So I think that's all he needs to know, right? For the moment, at least.
Yes, you also have to touch the target that you're casting on, unless you spend a reach to cast at range.
And he's casting on the door or the wall?
The wall, I believe. So you just have to touch the wall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I touched the wall, and I'm gonna spend a reach to cast a knowing spell to find the weakest point.
Okay.
That would take 1 mana, right?
Yeah,
No, actually, you would not spend any mana on this
is it
because it's
Arcana?
it's in your main Arcana. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Also, you can spend willpower to increase the likeliness that you will succeed on spells.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yes,
do
exactly.
that. Just spend 1.
I was going to say Death and Matter are your primary Arcana. So if you're using a mind spell, you would have to. If you're improvising a mind spell, rather, you would have to spend a mana.
Okay. I'm gonna spend 1 willpower to cast a knowing spell on the door that I'm touching, spending a reach to make it instantaneous, to find the weakest point of the wall. Excuse me, not the door, the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And then I roll
Gnosis and your Arcana that you're using.
Gnosis and Matter, and then I would add the will point,
Yeah.
3 die?
Yep.
Okay, so 5 total.
This is a serious matter, guys. It's a life and death.
7, 8, 6, 2, 10,
Ooh.
and then 1. So 2 successes.
2 successes, and you get to roll again for the 10.
Mm-hmm.
So just roll one more die.
Yep.
A 10.
Okay, that's another success. Roll again because you got another 10.
Exactly.
It did the dice rolls are already. It's 10, 10, and 3 right here.
Okay, cool.
So number of successes would be 4? 4
Oh,
successes.
wow. Yeah, okay, so you actually find out that not only is the wall connecting your cell to Yuko's cell very thin, but it also, a section of it has some rot on the inside. You could easily punch through that.
I'm gonna do so, just like shoulder ram through the wall. I like push through and kind of make it as big as I can before rushing through it.
Mm-hmm. No rolls necessary. It takes you a few tries, but you manage to smash your way through with a few good shoulder thrusts.
Yeah, gonna
And,
wipe off the dust and everything off of me really quick. Just I'm gonna look around Yuko's room, hearing. That's what I'm assuming or inferring her name is from what the guy was saying.
Yeah. You see the orderly that you talked to earlier slumped in the corner, his neck clearly broken.
I'm gonna locate his keys on him and try and pocket them.
Mm-hmm. You find it. You also find his ID badge.
Okay.
His name was Nicholas Miller.
Is this guy the new Richard?
Pretty much.
Oh god.
I'm gonna using. I can see using the maid sight or deaf sight. I can see like his anchoring. Am I able to leave that or any or no?
So he doesn't have an anchor. Ghosts have anchors.
Okay, so
As far as you know, this guy hasn't come back as a ghost, although it does usually take them some time after they die to come back.
okay, I'm gonna run towards the screaming.
All right. So meanwhile, Yuko.
Yeah, I'm running and I'm looking for something to pick up as a weapon at this point. I'm literally gonna grab like the first thing I can.
Yuko, get back here! It's your father's voice. And you look over your shoulder and you see your father like chasing after you down the corridor.
Okay, and I know it's my father too.
It looks exactly like your father. It's time to come home, Yuko!
Yeah, no, fuck that, I'm running.
As you run down a hallway, cells on either side of you, you like glance through one of them, and you see a forest, and you see yourself, a younger you, running alongside in your reflection as you pass each cell.
Okay.
You also see your father in the reflection gaining on you, as he too is running through the forest chasing after younger you.
Okay. Is there anything in this hallway, like maybe a trash can or something that I could knock down to like slow him down, perhaps?
Yeah, there's some lamps, some trash cans, some potted plants.
I'm gonna knock down whatever I can to try and slow his ass down.
All right. Yeah, you start doing that. He trips over a lamp and stumbles a bit, but he seems to be getting through most of it pretty easily.
Okay. What's ahead of me as I continue to run?
Just more hallways that seems to almost stretch on for forever.
And is there anything around me that I could pick up to use as a weapon?
Nothing that wouldn't be really unwieldy, like a big like lamp.
Oof. And I'm not that strong either. I'm just gonna keep running. I mean, that's the logical thing to do. Just keep running.
Fair enough. Fair enough. As you flee down the corridor, eventually like bursting out of the asylum ward and running into sort of medical lab kind of area of the asylum. In every reflective window, in every reflective beaker or vial on the tables, you see your own reflection being tackled by your father and dragged back towards the house, down into the basement.
Okay, for the moment,
Everywhere you look, you're seeing this like reflected at you from various surfaces, whether it be a metal bed frame or a window.
okay. I see this, and I'm just like, I shake my head, and I'm trying to ignore it to concentrate on the situation at hand. I'm in this lab now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I see all of these reflections. Do I see anywhere to hide, or anything to use to pick up as a weapon?
I'll be right back.
All right. There are a few cupboards. There is like a medical locker on the far end of the room. It looks like this area was being like prepped for surgery, so there's some scalpels laid out.
Okay. I'm gonna grab one of the scalpels.
Mm-hmm.
Are the lights on in here?
Yes, they are.
Okay. Are there any other doors in here?
There are 2 doors.
I'm going to run over to the nearest door
Mm-hmm.
and go through it.
Okay. You come out into another hallway. In the reflections, another hallway with cells lining either side. Your past traumas are playing out across every individual cell. You see yourself shooting that couple in the house, in Fergus's house. You see Raven getting shot again and again in repeat. What other grievous, horrible things am I missing?
What other grievous?
Oh yes, you see Frank getting mauled.
Okay.
And you see yourself being your own parents dragging you onto a stone altar, tying your wrists and ankles. Your father slitting the throat of a goat, pouring the blood over you.
Okay. I see these things, and I'm like clenching my eyes, like not wanting to see them. But I have to have my eyes open at the same time so I don't fucking like run into anything. And I just like continue to run, like I'm watching out of like the peripherals of my vision, and like when I can, I look towards one of the things. And at this point, I'm going to say she's just yelling out, "It's not true!" As she continues to run, looking for an exit.
All right. As you're desperately searching through these fucking endless corridors, like this hospital must go on forever. Like you feel like you've been running for miles now, just like desperately searching for a way out. To no avail. It's almost like these corridors loop back around on one another. You see your mother in the reflection now. You see that tar kind of like oozing up around the stone altar that you're on top of, and your mother, she like steps into it, and her flesh begins to kind of erode and melt away, drip away like candle wax, as she kind of just like starts to like dissolve before your very eyes. As this happens, the tar begins to creep up the sides of the stone altars, wriggling towards your open, screaming mouth.
I just like stare at it for a second.
Suddenly, the door to the basement is blown open, and Miss Riley, or Archer, or has she introduced herself as Archer? I don't think so.
No, just Miss.
So Miss Riley and the long-haired guy, along with 6 others, burst into the basement. Your parents are clearly taken by surprise. Your father stumbles away from them. They rush in, guns drawn, spears drawn, and in fairly clean order, 3 of them are quickly killed by your parents. One is completely devoured by the tar. Your mother grows a pair of claws and slashes the head off of a second one. Your father kind of like stumbles away from a large man with a scythe that advances upon him, only to have that samurai step from the shadows and decapitate the scythe-wielding man. As this is going on all around you, blood just kind of spreading across the room, Miss Riley rushes forward, and she like grabs you, desperation clear to see on her eyes as she like grabs you, like pulls you off the altar. You fall into a pool of blood, get dragged through it, and she pulls you up to your feet, pushes a gun to the side of your head, and says, "Stop! Stop, or I'll kill the cunt!" Both your parents stop. Even the tar creature seems to back away, growling softly. "We're walking out of here! Stay back! Stay the fuck back!" Her comrades begin beating a hasty retreat out of your house, with Miss Riley dragging you behind her.
And as I'm standing there, I just continue to stare at this reflection. Do I see anything else, or is that all that happens?
They drag you out into the street and stop a passing car. One of the surviving mages pulls the young man from the car and promptly shoots him in the side of the head, and they all pile into the car and speed off. And then the scenes of violence begin to replay almost.
I notice this, and I look around me. Where am I at again? I'm in a hallway still?
No. You're surrounded by darkness.
Is it the same darkness from before?
It is.
So, everything was a lie then? I ask the darkness. Everything that that I did was for nothing?
Scald steps forward from the darkness. She smiles, tears of blood running down her cheeks.
I did everything for them. And they did this to me.
Your father is suddenly there. You have a purpose Yuko. A destiny. It's time for you to fulfill that destiny.
And who are you to tell me what my destiny is?
Well,
No,
I'm your maker.
my maker.
I'm your father.
My father.
I have every right to tell you what your destiny is. And it's your
What?
destiny to come home with me now.
You know, I did everything for you and for Mom. I killed for you. All because I wanted your approval. And this is what I get in exchange? It's a fucking joke. You're gonna have to fucking kill me before I go with you.
All in good time, Yuko, sweetheart. All in good time.
Seeing as how I'm in this darkness and he's there and I don't really have anywhere to run, I guess I'm just gonna prepare myself to fight. I take my scalpel and I draw it in close to me as I take on a familiar sort of stance. For storytelling purposes, I'm gonna say this is...
Hey, can you turn that down just a bit?
I just thought about it.
Sorry.
For storytelling purposes, I'm going to say, like, this is actually, I don't know if this is something he would do, but I'll just run it by you now. This is a stance that her father or mother taught her, perhaps,
Mm-hmm.
as she takes it on, facing him.
He smiles, just kind of like grinning at the irony. He automatically recognizes it. Oh, darling, what are you doing?
Fighting you.
No, you're not. Come home. Come home with me now.
No.
Make your mother proud. You know you want to. You've said it yourself. You've killed for us. Now, die for us. That's all we're asking.
I'm going to wait. I'm going to take a defensive action. I'm just going to prepare for him to charge.
Make a resolve composure roll, actually.
Okay. So that's 5 die. I have 1 success.
Okay. He starts to walk towards you. And as he does, this, like, sense of just, like, doom wells up inside of you. Your father, he almost seems to double inside. This colossal being. How could you ever hope to stand against him?
And I think to myself, it doesn't matter whether I have any hope. I don't have a choice. I have to face him. As I resolve myself.
Put down the knife, darling. Put down the knife. His hand suddenly leaps forward and he tries to grab your arm.
Okay.
He's going to make a grapple roll.
Okay. Because I have, I have a few things about this. It's just a mundane grapple, right?
Yes.
Okay, I do have double jointed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he deducts my dexterity from that roll.
And that's 4, right?
5.
Oh, wow. Okay. In that case, he's spending willpower.
Okay, and what do I need to roll, if anything?
You're going to make a brawl strength roll.
Well, that is complete and utter shit, because I'm rolling a fate die. Brawl strength. Okay, well...
Yuko Maori meets her fate.
Yeah, let's fucking hope not. Okay, I did not get a success.
Okay. Well, he got 3 successes.
Well, fuck.
So he grapples you, grabbing your arm and slamming you backwards into the locker. He twists your wrist as he begins to attempt to disarm you. Make another strength brawl.
Okay. It's another fate die. I got a fucking 1. So not only do I fail, I dramatically fail.
Yeah.
If you want to, you can just straight up say he like breaks my arm.
He breaks your wrist, is what I'm going to say. He just twists it and it just snaps under his grasp.
I just like begin to just like.
You see, Youko, look what you made me do. You should have just come with me.
All right.
Grabbing the scalpel clatters to the floor, and he twists your wrist and begins to like drag you forward out of the room. Well, through the darkness, rather.
Okay. Okay. I'm just trying to think about what I can do in this situation. 1 second.
At this point, Adonis, you've been running for a while now. And you suddenly, as you're running down the hall, you suddenly see that deformed man come out, dragging Youko by the wrist. She's struggling and screaming in obvious pain.
Okay.
He looks at you, his features dripping. Last chance, you bastard! Back the fuck off!
I'm gonna look around me really quick. What's in my immediate surroundings?
A lot of broken potted plants and flipped lamps, trash cans.
I'm gonna take a shard of one of the ceramic shards of the plants.
All right.
Holding it in my right hand, I'm going to just watch him. I'm going to slowly circle around, trying to make sure that I can cut off either direction. And what do you want with her?
None of your business! None of your business! He raises his other hands and points a finger at you.
Can I see this exchange happening? Like, do I perceive anything?
Yes, you do. From the darkness, Scald appears. Despite her pain, she's clenching a spear in her hands.
I'm gonna look at her, and we have eye contact, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just say, please. I mouth to her, help me.
She mouths back, help yourself. And her eyes kind of like flip down to the ground. You follow them and you see that the scalpel is still there. Just out of arm's reach.
Okay. I'm going to use
And your father is distracted by this. He's yelling at her, "Get out of the way, fiend!
Okay.
This is your last chance!"
I'm gonna like reach towards it with my foot, as sneakily as I can.
Okay, give me a stealth dexterity.
Okay, so that's 6 die. I regained a point of willpower, right?
For what? Oh, for the
for
beginning
this-
of the session?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna spend it now. I feel like if there's any place to spend it, it is now.
Okay.
Okay, so that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 die. Thank God I invested in stealth. Wait, is my stealth 1 or 2? it's 1. Okay. I got 2 successes. Yeah, 2 successes.
Yeah, so you managed to get the scalpel.
All right.
You put your foot over it and slide it over to you, and then quickly kind of scoop it up with your good hand, your left hand, admittedly.
I'm going to stab.
I'm going to throw the shard of ceramic at him as hard as I can.
Okay. Make a athletics. Before you do that, Mitchell,
Okay.
Adonis, if you can make an athletics. Athletics dexterity.
I'm going to spend a point of willpower as well.
All right.
That's 7 die. Roll. I have gotten a 10. So my numbers are 4, 10.
We're looking, just so you know, we're looking for 8, 9s, and 10s.
I know. That is 2 successes. 1 was a 10. I'm going to roll 1 more die. And that is not. So I have 2 successes.
All right. Yes, you throw the shard of pottery at him, and it connects. He wasn't expecting that. He kind of like stumbles backwards as it like bounces off the front of his hoodie. From Yuko's point of view, Scald hurls her spear and it impales your father like right through the stomach. And as he like stumbles backwards, he kind of like tilts his head, leaving his jugular wide open.
I go for it.
All right, make a weaponry dexterity roll at a +4.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 die.
Oof.
That's what I'm talking about. I got 5 successes.
That's an exceptional success. And you just like jam. I'll actually let you describe how you kill him.
Okay.
Describe how you kill your father.
I just yell out, "Die, fucker!" as I just like go in like straight for his fucking throat with my left hand, right? The knife just slides into his throat initially, right? He like twitches a bit and then I just drag the knife forward as it just like tears through his fucking jugular into his throat. And then I just tear out like through his throat from the other side.
Nice. He slumps over, quite dead. And Scald walks over to you.
I look up at her.
Sign your name. She motions to the expanding pool of blood, spreading across the ground.
I dip my hand into it. Where do I need to sign?
Oh shit. Sorry, one of my cats is getting into a fight.
Oh shit.
God.
She holds up her shield for you to sign.
I sign my name in it with the kanji. So I'm imagining from Adonis's perspective, he just like sees me, like just dip my hand into this pool of blood, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just writing in the air.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm gonna what do I see from my perspective?
The melty man just got stabbed in the throat, and he slumped over dead. And now Yuko is dipping her fingers into the blood and waving them around in the air in front of her.
Oh.
Her eyes kind of like bulging, her pupils like twice the size they would normally be.
Gonna look around, gonna slowly approach, like Yunko said. Hey, are you okay? can get out of here. I don't think anyone would try to stop us. There seems to be some fucky shit going on.
I
Okay,
just, I don't even think I can hear you at this point. I'm just signing my name still.
Yeah, that's
You can hear Adonis's voice. It kind of drifts in from far away. Scald leans down. Youko, we are together in this. I will always be by your side.
Thank you.
And then she and the darkness kind of just like fade away. And the disfigured body of your brother replaces your father. And Adonis replaces Scald. And the psychiatric ward replaces the darkness around you. And you're suddenly back. Having found, in a way, what you had always been searching for.
I just, I look at Kaito's corpse. Oh, Kaito. I'm so sorry. Hey. Shh. Just lie down a little bit.
Yuko. What's done is done. He seemed to be hurting you. Let me see if I can do anything about your wrist really quick. I'm gonna assume it's kind of like bruised or purple from when it snapped.
It's very clearly broken, yes.
Yeah.
And I take the scalpel in my hands, my good hand, and I say, I'm gonna make this right. I swear it. And I'm gonna try to stand up at this point.
I'm gonna assist.
You get her to her feet.
I'm gonna look at her hand. Gonna take like a strip. I'm gonna take a strip of like my cloth and wrap it tightly around and make just like a slight bandage around it just to keep it firm enough to where it won't rotate or anything.
You do so with those 2 points in medicine. You don't need to make a roll or anything.
Okay. And Yuko, what did you say about us getting out of here?
Let's go.
At this point, an alarm goes off.
Let's get the fuck out of here. Quick.
Let's go. I'm gonna take the ID badge in hand and guide the way, following the exit signs and everything.
Well, it seems that most of the staff are in disarray and being drawn towards the massacre that happened in the lobby. But so you manage to kind of like slip past. Occasionally you see orderlies like running past in the hallways and whatnot, but none of them notice you. As you unlock several sets of doors and slip out through a back door of the hospital.
I'm gonna take
through the same door that Youko was brought in originally.
I'm gonna take a nice big air, breathe in, getting the hospital air out of my body, enjoying the fresh scents that I smell instead of just the sterile situation I was in.
And there are fireworks. You know, it's past midnight now, past New Year's. So fireworks are just going off everywhere.
We're gonna keep going. Yuko, where do we want to go?
I know exactly where I'm going. You don't have to come with me, but I would like it if you would.
Yeah, I think my cat should be okay.
That's kind of... I chuckle at that for a second. Thinking about your cat and all of this.
Yeah, it's... I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll follow you. I do need to make a stop by my house, though. It's... Yeah, let's go.
And we're gonna start going. I'm gonna... I'm gonna try to, I knew about the... Well, I don't really know where the fuck I would go, actually.
Um,
Can we borrow a car?
Yeah, are there any vehicles around?
Loosely.
yes, there are multiple vehicles around. They are definitely all locked and probably alarmed, but they are definitely there.
Okay.
Are
Never,
there any older models around?
never mind that.
Okay.
I know exactly where I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to the apartment complex. That's the only place I know.
Okay, the one where your apartment complex or your previous apartment complex, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only
Margaret
place.
does owe you a favor.
Margaret does owe me a favor for getting the fuck out of there. Yeah.
Now you are essentially on the other side of Boston from Brighton. How do you intend to make it there?
Fuck.
Is there any older model cars around?
Yeah, are there any older model cars around here? I guess.
Let's see here.
Or better yet, he has those keys, right?
Yeah.
Yes, for the cells.
Oh, I was hoping maybe this guy was dumb and he like kept his car keys. Okay. Yeah. I'm just gonna say, do you know how to hotwire a car?
Would crafts fall under that?
Larceny.
Larceny, which I have none of. No, I do not.
Well, I've done a little bit of research. You know, you gotta know how a criminal works after all to be able to catch them.
I I kind of planned for the other type of life. I wanted to be left alone in the woods and just hunt.
Well, you found yourself in the wrong place, and I'm gonna go over to. Are there any motorcycles around? Actually.
Well, so let's say there are 2 cars around the back of the asylum.
Okay.
You could go around the front into the main parking lot and look around for cars. So you could grab one of the 2 cars. I'll say it's shit, I don't know car models.
It's a Prius. Why not?
Sure, it's a Prius and a Toyota.
I'm gonna go to. Actually, I like Toyotas better. I'm gonna go over to the Toyota.
Okay.
Is there anything on the ground I can use to break the window, or is the door unlocked?
The door is not unlocked.
Okay.
There is a trash can,
I'm gonna.
a dumpster actually, and you can see several planks of wood sticking out of it.
I'm gonna take a piece of wood and I'm gonna break the window.
While she's doing that, I'm just gonna take the key ring, wrap it around my hand with like the metal ring around it, and wrap my hand in cloth and just smash the window.
Well, that's
So you break both windows.
Why not?
Why not? Just
We gotta get in style, you know. Okay, I'm gonna get in, and from the little bit that I know about larceny, I'm gonna try to hotwire this car.
Okay. Yeah, larceny. What do you think it would be? Intelligence or wits?
maybe wits or yeah, it'd be like a finesse thing. So yeah, it'd be wits.
Okay, larceny wits. That brings me at 5 die. All right, let's go. I got 2 successes.
All right. Yeah, it takes you a couple minutes, but you manage to get it to work. It sparks. The car engine starts.
All right,
You guys are home free.
We're gonna drive to the apartment complex.
All right. And so you get the fuck out of there. And you
Fuck
speed
out of
off into the night. And that's where we'll end it.
Using a Toyota to get the fuck out of Dodge.
Yep.
Absolutely. All right. All right, that's where we're gonna stop for tonight.
Yes.
Okay.
Sure, you don't want to go and pay Margaret a visit first?
I need to prepare for that.
Okay.
She can tell you a lot.
Okay, right, well, in that case, I'm going to go ahead and stop recording.